Hello parents, this is Mr. Smith, and I'm sharing this video with you because we're coming up on a very important unit in math, and I'm going to ask for about 7 minutes of your time here to watch this so that we can really be successful with kids at school and their math facts. So your help is going to be instrumental to your child's success coming up in our next unit in math. And we're getting into multiplication. And multiplication is the most important of all the operations because, well, you need it for multiplication, you need it for division, you need it for fractions, and you're going to need it for algebra in the future. So this video is going to talk about two main things. One, how do we get kids to know their math facts without having to memorize all of them? And what can parents do at home to help support their math fact fluency? We're calling it math fact fluency because we want kids to be flexible within their thinking, and we want them to be creating and having these strategies under their belt so that they can get through these facts and understand them without having to memorize all 100 of them. Now, if your child is really good in memorization and has all 100 of these facts memorized, that's great. But the research tells us that kids who are flexible and allow strategies to be involved in their thinking are even better in math than those who just simply have their 100 facts memorized. So we really do want kids, no matter where they're at, to work on these strategies. And the thing that I want to share with you is that this is not about speed. We are not interested in how fast your kids know their facts at this particular point. What we are more interested in is the strategies they can use to figure them out. So speed is not anything that I really want you working on at all at home or any type of pressure with your child. How do we do this then? What we do is we categorize math facts into sets, and we start with an end of the year third grade set. These 5 sets of facts here, zeros, ones, tens, fives, and twos, are extremely important for your child to know by the end of third grade. These are what we're going to call our base set of facts. Now, I've already taken time at the beginning of the year, as well as we're going to look at it again here at the middle of the year to make sure that kids have these 5 under their belt. And at the beginning of the year, all of the kids had zeros and ones and tens under their belt, so to say. They had them mastered, and we still had to work a little bit on fives and twos. We've done that throughout the year. We kind of went away from it a little bit in our last unit in math because we were onto fractions, even though we certainly were doing some multiplication within there. And so we're coming back to this now, and after this we'll get back into fractions, which they're going to need to have their multiplication facts under their belt. So here are those 5 sets. You got those zeros, ones, tens, fives, and twos. Those are those base sets of facts. Then what do we do here in 4th grade? We move into fours. We move into fours, and this box right here indicates the facts that they already know because they are the ones that were from that previous 3rd grade mastered set. So that means we just need to work on these 6 right here when it comes to fours. But we're giving the kids a specific strategy for fours is what we're going to do. We repeat that process for 8s. So again, we don't need to know these box ones because we've already had those from previous time. And so we're working on these down here. Then we move into 3s. And there's a reason for this particular sequence, by the way. 2s lead us into 4s because we're doubling. 4s lead us into 8s because then we're doubling a double. 3s we use after these because we use 2s and one more set. And I'll be showing those strategies with you in just a little bit. And so then we're moving into those 3s there. Then we go to 6s. We move into 7s. And you can see by the time we get down to 7s and 6s, kids always say, well, 6s, 7s, and 9s are the, and I'm quoting, hard facts. So really, if we teach these strategies, there's not a whole lot of facts that they have to know when it comes to those, again, quote unquote, hard facts. So instead of memorizing 100 facts, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strategies is what we're doing. Now, I will say there are more strategies out there that we can certainly use, and I'm going to share with you 2 strategies for 6s, and I'm going to share with you 2 strategies for 9s. So that's kind of the scope and sequence, as we call it, in terms of how we do this. So what can you do at home? This is probably the most important part here is what can you do at home? You can make sure that they are working on their math fact fluency homework packets. I've created a packet of 9 days worth of info. And really for these, we start off with our base facts from 3rd grade. I do want the kids to say them out loud first. So here's why I need you to listen to them, making sure that they are saying it out loud. 0 times 4 equals 0, 8 times 0 equals 0, and so forth. This will probably take them 30 seconds to do out loud. Then I want them to write the answer to each fact on this sheet too, after they've said it out loud to you. So there's kind of a double practice there. So they can just go ahead and write in 0 right here. And then after they've done that, I want them to write down some type of a rule or a way of knowing all of those types of facts. So for example, any number such as 8 or 6 or 3 times 0, I wrote down any number times 0 is 0. That's kind of a rule that we're using there. So what could they do for ones? What could they say for tens, fives, and twos? Do not accept. I just know them. Okay. We want them to be kind of opening their minds more to how you could actually explain this to someone if maybe they were teaching it to someone. So that's what day one would be about, looking back at those base facts. Then we move into twos, and we're going to review those twos because twos are extremely important for many of the strategies that we do. That'll be day two. So on day one, just do page day one when that starts coming home. Don't let them go into day 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 yet. Then on day 2, work on just this page. Same deal. We're going to write each fact here below. I'm sorry, we're going to write each fact here below as an addition fact. So what we're going to do, and it gives an example. And then we're going to say each one that like we did previously on the previous day, and then write them out loud, or write them out here. So that's what day 2 would be about. Day 3 then gets into that strategy for 4. So the strategy is right here. It's always written right here. It's shown in the first box. And then I sort of scaffold it is what I do here is I kind of back off a little bit. I tell them, okay, something's got to go here. I'm giving you some information as to how to do this. And then I back off and give them some practice even further. Day 4, we're then getting into 8s. Again, tells you how to do it, gives an example, gives some help here, some guidance, and then I back off. And for this one, day 3 happens to be a 2-pager. So just keep that in mind when day 3 comes home. I'm sorry, day 4. Day 5, we're getting into 3s. Again, we're coming out to using 2s, and an additional set is what we're doing. A lot of these we are certainly working on, or all of these we're working on in class, but again, just wanting you to be familiar with what we're doing. We don't need to do anything with that box right there. Getting to day 6. Day 6 is going to have 2 strategies. Because we're giving 2 strategies for 6s, we're going to do using 5s and add one more set. Again, that's all right here. And then if you look at the next part of the page, when this packet comes home, there's a second strategy down here where we're using 3s and double. And so day 6 is also going to be 2 pages worth is what it's going to be here. Then we finally get into day 7, and day 7 really hits a lot of that algebraic type of thinking where we're taking 7s and we're breaking them down into 5s and 2s is what we're doing. This is something that they're going to see this year. They're going to see it next year in 5th grade and in middle school and so forth. So again, even if your child is really good in their math facts, I want them doing this. This is important that they are using these strategies. Okay, and getting in then to day 8, I'm going to do the 2 strategies for 9. The first strategy will be on day 8. Where we're using 10s and subtracting a set. And then day 9, kind of going back to that algebraic thinking, where they're breaking 9 down into 5s and 4s. So that's it. I know it's a lot in a short amount of time. We'll be, of course, working on these at school, but to have you working on these at home with your child is going to be extremely helpful for being successful in this next unit in math. And I thank you ahead of time for your help. Have a good day. Thanks for watching.